Okay, this video is to show a basic interaction with the ropsten testnet blockchain using a simple storage smart contract. Very basic smart contract, but also a very powerful way to get practice interacting with a blockchain, interacting with a smart contract, setting up a front end and a back end, and just basically learning how a full stack decentralized application works. So as you can see, I have a MetaMask account here. I'll be working through this MetaMask account. Let's go and put in a value of 44, hit submit. On the front end of this application, as you can see, it automatically pops up my MetaMask, asks for a confirmation. My MetaMask does have some test ether in it that I got from a faucet. A faucet basically just provides you with some test ether so you're able to process these transactions and cover the test gas price. So as you can see, when I entered that value, I got a transaction hash. We'll take this transaction hash, we'll go to the Etherscan block explorer, hooked up to the ropsten testnet. We'll punch this in like so, and we get a pending signal. So the transaction is currently pending. Go back over to the React. You'll see it hasn't updated, but eventually we'll automatically update this value to 44. Let's go back over to the ropsten testnet block explorer, see what we got going on here. Still pending. Let's see what happens if we refresh the page. It's currently indexing. So there we are, we got our success. That's great. That way we know that the transaction is verified and everything is working properly with the front end application. It's communicating with the ropsten testnet blockchain, and we're able to verify a transaction. Let's go down, let's look at some information here. You can click see more and go down to decode input data. We're able to see our value that we input 44, and that's where we made our state change on the blockchain when we set the value called stored data. Let's go back over to the front end application, and we can see we do have an updated value of 44. So that just shows a very basic but powerful interaction with the ropsten testnet blockchain through using MetaMask wallet and basically being able to interact with the React front end and have that connect to the back end Solidity code that powers the application, and that Solidity code is deployed then into the blockchain, which is the ropsten testnet blockchain. We verified everything on the block explorer, the Etherscan block explorer, and now I'm going to move forward to show you some of the code, the back end information that is powering this application. All right, thank you. Okay, as you can see, we're in VS Code now, and I'm able to break down the contract that powered the simple storage application, which we can find right here, simple storage. This is Solidity code. It's built very basic. This contract is very simple. Smart contract, but it's very powerful, straightforward, easy way to see how the blockchain and the smart contract interact with each other and how the user interacts with them as well. The SPDX license identifier at the top. You got your Pragma, your Solidity versions, your contract itself, the name, simple storage. This contract returns a uint256 that we name stored data. Your first function is the set. That's where you make your state change to the blockchain, and it is a uint256 that you input. It's public, so it can be interacted with by other users in the public, and it stores a stored data value, which then on the second function we can make a call to the blockchain to get that stored data back, and we call that a get. It's a public view, so this can be called by the public, and it returns a uint256, which is the stored data that we set in the blockchain. Now, as you can see, like I said, it's very simple but powerful. We're able to also see information for our front end which is built through React, and it is plugged into the Brownie framework. Here we have our package.json, and here you can see some connectivity where I was able to put in a home page, which I have uploaded to my GitHub pages, where I have a repository with all the information. But when you're able to go to my GitHub pages, you can interact with the application as I was, as long as you have a wallet, a MetaMask wallet. Here's the information that helps to launch everything to my GitHub pages. We also have our client folder here. This is where all the React information lives. Under our source, we have our app.js. This is the main connectivity for our front end to our back end through react.js. Also, let me show you the artifacts. This folder catches our deployments. This folder I've named 3. That's the ID, the chain ID for the ropsten testnet, as well as I have another folder called dev. This is catching all the information for when I deploy smart contracts to a local ganache blockchain, different than the testnet. It's just a local ganache blockchain that we spin up on our system, and we're able to interact with it in a very quick, fast way, because there's no verifications that need to happen like on a decentralized network. This is just a fake blockchain that allows you to implement code, run and see how your code may interact with the blockchain before I move on to deploying that code to a testnet and eventually a mainnet. So that gives you kind of an idea of some of the frameworks that we build on, which is what we work with here is a Python-based framework called Brownie. Now, the React front-end framework is a JavaScript-based framework, and these tools work together with each other pretty good. So if you're a Python-based user, you can still work with React.js and create nice decentralized applications. Okay. Also, let's go over our Brownie config. This is where we configure our Brownie framework. We have our .envs, project structure, and our builds. Also, we have let's go to our map.json. This also shows you that I deployed the same contract to both the development local blockchain as well as to the 3, which is our ropsten testnet. And the map.json will basically break down all your deployments to any of the blockchains that you have set. So that's pretty much just a basic, straightforward breakdown of a very simple, but like I said, powerful smart contract that interacts with the blockchain on the ropsten testnet, as well as this same contract can be deployed to a local blockchain. Real quick, I'm going to show you how I go about doing that, how I go about deploying the contract to a local blockchain and interacting with it. So let's set up a new terminal here, like so. And what we'll do is we'll go into our Brownie console, and our Brownie console is a quick way to interact with the blockchain right in your command line interface. So we'll pull that up here quick. We'll go to our Brownie console, network development. We're gonna run this Brownie console like so. That's going to launch our ganache blockchain, as you can see here. Then we're going to deploy that contract to the local ganache blockchain with the command run deploy, like so. As you can see, we did get an address of the contract as well as a transaction hash. So that's great. Let me go over to my MetaMask, change to my local 8545 host. And as you can see, I have 0 ETH. So what I need to do is go into one of the accounts that is actually provided by the Ganache blockchain. When I spin up a Ganache blockchain, it also provides me with a certain amount of test accounts with test ETH. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some test ETH from one of those accounts, and I'm going to put it into this deployment account so that I can interact and pay the test gas fees. So how we're going to do that is we're going to set my deployment account, make sure that's set properly, like so. Then we're going to go into this command line here where it shows accounts 0. This is the first account within the accounts array, transferring 1 ETH to the deployment account rather. Let's do that. Looks good. Now we're able to check our balance. As you can see now, we have 1 ETH broken down the way. And go to our MetaMask account, and there we go. We got our 1 ETH. Now we should be able to interact with the contract. Let's refresh that. As you can see, when I refresh the page, the value is stored to 0 because this is a newly deployed contract onto a local blockchain. So now we're interacting with that blockchain. Let's punch in 25. Hit submit. We're able to confirm in our MetaMask. One thing I always like to do is go into my settings after I've been doing some work and go into reset account, refresh everything here. Let's try that one more time with refreshed application, hit submit. Should be good to go here, and we instantly get a new stored value of 25 and a transaction hash, which is great. And one difference between this local blockchain and like a testnet, like the ropsten testnet, we got an instant updated value and an instant transaction hash that really can be verified instantly, because there's no verifications like on a decentralized network that really needs to happen. This is just a fake blockchain. Good way to test out your Solidity code before you decide to move on to a testnet and then later to a mainnet. So also I'd like to show within this Brownie console, we can also interact with the smart contract. And how we'll do that is we'll set that contract address within the console. Let's see here. And let's interact with that contract straight through the console. Simple storage get. Let's make a call to the blockchain, the local blockchain, and let's see if we can retrieve that 25. And there we got the 25. So we're able to interact with that blockchain from two different consoles. Basically, we have the Brownie console and the front end application. So let's make a state change through the Brownie console. Let's change that number to 5, like so. Get a transaction hash, go over to the application, refresh that application, 5, go down to settings, advanced, reset the account, and we get our 5. Okay, so everything's communicating, and very simple, like I said, but very powerful. Sometimes these different browsers, I'm using Firefox right now, even though MetaMask is a more Chrome-based wallet, I'm using it on Firefox right now because I'm actually using my main MetaMask on Chrome, where I have my real money and my real investments. So sometimes you get a little bit of jittery action here when you're going between different browsers, but that's no problem. Like I said, if you go to your MetaMask account, hit reset, it pretty much refreshes everything, and you can see that everything's interacting properly from the front end React app to the back end, which all lives in the smart contract, which is deployed then to a blockchain, whether that be local or testnet. And I also showed how you can use your framework, your Brownie console framework console, to also interact with the blockchain as well. Very interesting, very powerful, and I hope this video was helpful. Thank you.